Lately, an increased number of hypercar manufacturers have tried to claim their piece of market by varying degrees of success. In a world dominated by Ferrari, Lamborghini and Porsche, you might be forgiven that these established giants are the only car makers that produces supercars and hypercars, but delving a little deeper reveals a whole new generation of insanely fast models that most won't have heard of. Advances in manufacturing technology along with ever most powerful power units have led to a surge of interest among gearheads for even faster cars that even with the clearest of streets are never going to achieve their maximum speed. Here is a selection of hypercars that rarely make the headlines. Surely there must be something in the air around Modena. How else could you explain why so many performance manufacturers call this region of Italy home? The newest member of the hypercar elite, Ares design isn't exactly subtle either. The S1 project is an exercise of cramming as many ducts and vents into one design as possible. On the inside too, Ares has extended the modern theme to its cockpit. A subtle blend of curves and minimal switchgear makes it all seem very relaxed. But this is no Sunday afternoon poser mobile. Under the rear hood resides a 715 horsepower naturally aspirated V8 engine capable of rolling its occupants to 62 miles per hour in a scant 2.7 seconds. In recent years, we have been told to slow down, drive more efficiently, look after the planet, etc. And yet, at the same time, a growing number of hypercar manufacturers have sprung up. Perhaps they know something we don't. Enter HYPERCARS, the Bulgarian hypercar manufacturer who have seen what other makers can produce and gone one better. Early adopters concerned with HYPERCARS' lack of history need not worry. Under its race car constructed body sits more familiar mechanicals. Equipped with a supercharged 6.2-liter Chevrolet LS9 motor producing 650 horsepower should dispel any worries over reliability. Already in its second generation format since 2015, the Spano is one of the hypercars you might have passed off as another Lamborghini without giving it a second glance. First produced in 2013, the revised model arrived 2 years later with a more potent engine package, curiously switching from a supercharged 8.4-liter V10 to a more powerful twin-turbo setup boasting 925 horsepower. Even if the gains are only minimal, the performance figures are nothing to be sniffed at. Manufacturer provided test figures suggest 62 miles per hour coming up in just 2 to 7 seconds. Flat out, you will be doing 230 miles per hour. Inevitably, we all will be driving electric cars in the future. And if the prospect of trundling around town to the gentle hum of electric motors is depressing, then fear not. NIO's EP9 might just be the solution. Designed and built in just 18 months, the NIO EP9 represents the best efforts of both the automotive and racing industry. Beneath the FIA GT-inspired carbon fiber body sits four 335 horsepower electric motors combining to deliver 1 megawatt of power and an equally impressive range of 260 miles between charges. Climbing abroad and selecting high-power mode sees the EP9 storm to 62 miles per hour in just 2 to 7 seconds, silently accelerating all the way to a top speed of 217 miles per hour. Few concepts make it through to production. Finnish car maker Toroidion fortunately has completed the transition to production with 75 examples of the freshly named Usta M1 hypercar commencing in 2019. Much hype surrounds the Usta M1's utility mode, allowing lower voltage at higher power outputs to be used safely to drive 4 electric motors. Unlike similar concepts, Toroidion uses different output motors, front and rear, to deliver a combined 1341 horsepower, as we have seen with other electric hypercars. Electric motors deliver unrivaled torque instantly, The EOSTA is no different and boasts a 0 to 249 miles per hour time of 11 seconds. In a marketplace rammed with exotic mid-engined and complex electric hypercars, it makes a refreshing change to see a traditional front-engine rear-wheel entrant. While the VLF4 stand isn't the fastest, it does benefit from good old-fashioned rear-wheel handling that gives a little warning before letting go. Even heard of the 4 stand? The company has only been in existence since 2016 and plans to keep the model exclusive by limiting production to 50 cars. Under the hood of this modern American muscle hypercar, we find none other than Viper's 8.4-liter V10, which in the 4 stand is pumping out 745 horsepower. We don't pretend to understand the naming convention of the latest hypercar from Lebanon-based W Motors, intended as a successor to the Lycan Hypersport. We would have thought Supersport was a step backward. Placing both alongside one another, you would be hard pushed to spot any major changes. A similar evolutionary process takes place under the skin. Sticking with a tried and tested rough developed turbocharged engine, the Supersport with a slight increase in capacity now produces 799 horsepower, improving both acceleration and top speed fractionally. The good news is W Motors is planning to build 50 Supersports, representing a big jump over the original 7 Hypersport model. Why build your own carbon fiber tub when you can buy a proven example from another supplier? Even better when the chassis formed the basis of the original EB110. Essentially, that is exactly what B-Engineering, a group of ex-Bugatti employees, did to design their SP110 hypercar project. With original plans to produce 21 examples of their SP110, the project never get off the ground. However, later investment from Castle Motors pushed the project to fruition under the Adonis SP110 model name. The upcoming FXE might be Aria's first production car, but the California-based engineering company has a back catalogue of automotive projects that most gearheads will have heard of, including the Singer 911 and Ford Shelby GR1. Designed from the ground up with performance in mind, the FXE uses a custom-built carbon fiber tub fitted with a supercharged LT4 motor augmented by twin front-mounted electric motors, all are producing a combined 1150 horsepower, gives the FXE a top speed of 220 miles per hour, passing 62 miles per hour in just 3.1 seconds. We might be patiently waiting a little longer to see just how true the concept of seizing a groundbreaking 21C really is. Originally planned for production in 2020, those plans being shelved due to the global pandemic. Featuring a custom hybrid powertrain might not be anything new, but this one designed in-house is a bit more special. Up front, twin electric motors drive the front wheels, while a more conventional gasoline engine delivers an astonishing 950 horsepower from a tiny 2.88 liter to deliver a combined 1233 horsepower. To put those figures into perspective, Seisinger claims a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of 1.9 seconds and a top speed of 248 miles per hour. Some things are just worth waiting a little bit longer for.